Thanks for tuning in to the Urban Scope podcast. I'm back with another story. Damon Wayans talked about his exit from SNL and how he purposefully got fired from SNL just due to mostly creative differences. Just a little backstory. He was on the documentary that's out, SNL 50, and he talked about how he admitted to purposely being fired due to the lack of creative differences. He also said that he has received advice from Eddie Murphy who told him to write his own sketches because they're going to give you some black people stuff to do and you're not going to like it. So Damon took this advice and he didn't realize this advice until he pitched a skit for a skit called The Gifted Rapper, which was a guy who was rapping gifts, but he also had a knack for rapping, like hip hop rapping as well. And the writer told him that he didn't get the sketch. And Damon was, saying in his head, like, well, 50 million other people understand it. How does he not understand that? So the writer ditched his idea and then pitched another sketch, which ultimately became the sketch, Damon's last sketch on SNL. This story kind of gave me flashbacks of other artists in the industry talking about the creative process and how the creative process is kind of tainted. It's tainted through the guise of the people with the money making all the creative decisions, which makes sense in general terms and business terms. But when you think about an artistic standpoint or entertainment standpoint, the artists are the ones with the true vision, with the talent. So it seems like they would have more creative control, but they don't in most instances. And the Wayans comes from a legendary family, and that legendary family has a lot of ideas and a lot of genius about them, not just talent, but genius as well. Creative genius, business genius, what they're able to do from a family standpoint and from just a historical standpoint. They have the Scary Movie series, which is coming back hopefully some point this year, maybe the fall. And then they just, the works that they've put out, whether you think about Major Pain, you think about the White Chicks movies, you're thinking about Mo Money, you're thinking about all these great things that they've done. But like I said, you're still bound to a system that wants you to do things just for their own pleasure, so to speak. The business is controlled by, just to be real about it, it's controlled by older white men who wants you to do things. And most people complained about them putting black men in dresses, being able to make men to, emasculate these men in a way. And a lot of people had those complaints about that because it seemed to be a trend. Every artist that you can think of, your favorite comedian, he's wore a dress at some point, with maybe the exception of a Dave Chappelle, who spoke out openly against that on Oprah some years back. Because like I said, this is creative process is not a creative process if you don't have the artistic freedom. And that was what Damon was alluding to. He didn't have that freedom to make decisions on a show. Most of the greats are able to improvise or able to pitch ideas because you can bounce ideas. And in Damon's case, if the skit didn't work, then at least he had the opportunity to do it. And it also takes pressure off of that writer. The writer can still coexist and do his job with Damon on the sketch and say, hey, what if we add this? What if we take this out? What if we do this? But it seemed like the writer wanted the total control and didn't want to hear what Damon was saying. So it seemed like at that point he became a puppet. And anytime you feel like you're a puppet, you feel like you're controlled, and it definitely affects your performance and your thought process. And that is no more evidence in Damon's cases. But, Damon was early in his career, so maybe they didn't see his greatness or know his greatness, but he's proven that he's a great comedian and a great entertainer, a great actor, and all these things. One of his favorite movies that he did was Bulletproof with Adam Sandler. I loved him in that movie. The Mo Money movie back in the early 90s as well that he did. And then My Wife and Kids with Tashina, not Tashina Arnold, but with Gina from Martin. When he did that, it was great. So he was able to show he's just not a comedian, he's an actor as well. So he's very versatile in that way. And it's very difficult to do both. Most people don't understand, but it is difficult to do both. Just because you're a great comedian doesn't mean you'll be a great actor, and vice versa. And Damon was able to master both of those. So, um, but being an artist is all about being able to paint a picture in your picture. But if somebody else painting a picture for you, are you really truly an artist? And Damon knew that more than anyone else. His ability to create that sketch. I wish that he would have had an opportunity to get, to be able to do that sketch and continue with SNL, because who knows, his career might have been different. Or maybe it would have been the same, but at least he would have had that opportunity to showcase himself and being able to show his artistic expression and his ability. He used to do it all the time on In Living Color, one of the greatest, sketch shows of all time. Um, because his brother ran the scene, Keenan Ivory Wayans, which is another great in his family. Shout out to him and Marlon and Sean as well, and Kim Wayans, who's a showrunner on most of the things they do. They're able to do these things because, like I said, their family has genius about them, and it runs in the family. It's obviously genetic, their comedic value, but their ability the genius that they have comedically is something totally different, and they didn't see that on SNL. Now, I've never been a big fan of SNL. I used to watch it sometimes if I could stay awake that late, earlier, because I've never been able to stay awake that late, except for with the exception of my college years, when I had like used to stay up to 2 in the morning, but now I can't stay up that late. But SNL has not been something I've been excited to stay awake about or just found too funny, because it seems like the show is ran from, like I said, from the perspective of the people without the talent, from the people who fund the venture, people who make all the decisions but didn't have the artistic ability or creativity. And it shows in the SNL skits. Even when you look at a Will Ferrell when he was on SNL, he's totally different now. He's a lot funnier now than he was on SNL, I think, in my opinion. But like I said, I'm from a different culture, so maybe that has an effect to it. But um, long story short, uh, artistic expression is needed for creativity, and it's needed for success. And these bigger wig guys need to understand that, and be able to give these artists their creative control. Not all the control, but enough control to feel like they have input and they're not just puppets. Because if you're telling me everything to say, am I truly funny? I need to be able to improvise, and I need to be able to have input as well. So thanks for tuning into the content. Remember to like and subscribe to the content. Until next time, I'll see you next time.